Happy Miracle Monday and Happy Memorial Day. That's when this is being filmed, on Memorial Day. And I want to talk about remembering today. And Miracle Monday, by the way, I'm Dawn Petalino. I'm your transformational coach and best-selling author of Peace, Power, and Miracles. You can find out more about me, my resources, guided meditations, books, blogs on www.dawnpetalino.com. And every Monday I offer you a video on Miracle Mondays, helping us to remember the truth that we are miracle makers. And I reference a lot of the Course of Love and A Course in Miracles on these videos. So if that resonates with you, then hold on to your seat. You might enjoy this. All right, so today I want to talk about remembering, but I really want to talk about remembering the law of supply. So much of what we go through in this world is about fear of not getting what we want and fear of what we have leaving us. So we go through this manipulation and we spin our wheels a lot, raise our stress levels, trying to think about how am I going to make myself safe? How can I make my future secure? Everything's always about this future related thing of how is that going to happen? And it's like we just want to know how it's going to happen. But if we did that, that's still living from this idea of fear. This idea of I have to do this in order for this to happen. And the law of supply, or what the Course of Love calls you, says that you have this idea of loss and gain. And you have to remember there is no loss, there's only gain. And you've made this idea of if then. If I do this, then that happens. We even use it in our spirituality. We have this thing like, if I say the right affirmation, if I do the right ritual, then this will happen, well, that will happen. And that's kind of still a manipulation. It's like a bargaining with the universe. And that's not real spirituality. That's not really living the truth. That's kind of a pseudo-truth. The real truth is if you know that your source is God. Your source is infinite intelligence. Your source is this higher consciousness, this infinite consciousness. That's this infinite possibility. If we already knew that that was our source, then we wouldn't even question whether something was here or not. We would always say, well, it's here. It might take time to manifest, given the right time and season, but I'm trusting that higher source. But when I connect with that source, when I know that I am a part of that, then how could anything ever be withheld? It wouldn't even be a thought in our mind that we weren't taken care of, because we are connected, we are part of, created by, physical form of this infinite loving intelligence. And if we are that, and if we're connected to that, then there's nothing missing in your life. And the only thing that's missing is where I've made that loss and gain idea my God. And like the Course of Love says, it's that you've made this idea of loss and gain your ruler. And you've abandoned the law of God by doing so, which means to live under the laws of grace. And if I live under the laws of grace, then I don't even have to think about loss. I look at everything and say, well, this is interesting. I'm not saying this doesn't take practice. It certainly takes a lot of practice. But I am saying that when something comes into my life that appears scary, then I have to say, well, wait a minute. I come from an infinite loving source. Then love is all there is. Then I don't even know what this thing, this appearance of something in front of me. I will not abandon the laws of God and go into my fear of thinking there's going to be a loss. I might have to wait. I might have to wait for the gift. I might have to wait for see where this leads. Because sometimes there will be a breaking down in order for something better to come, and haven't we all experienced that? But in hindsight, we sit there and go, oh my gosh, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have done this. That wouldn't have led to this. And we see like the little breadcrumbs are connecting the dots. So whenever it comes to supply, we just have to know one thing. You must willingly join with your source, which for me is I have to get quiet, and nature's a great way to do this, where I have to like kind of abandon all the circumstances in my life and really just focus on breathing in what I'm seeing, breathing in a feeling, and just staying with that until I start to soften. And when I start to feel that love, I've joined with my source. And there is no loss with your source, because your source is infinite supply. What could be lost with infinite supply, infinite love? You know, it says, I came to give you life so you may have it abundantly. It doesn't say we have to bargain for it, but every time I put more faith in the illusion that it's not here, then I'm buying into fear. I'm buying into that loss and gain mentality. But every time I look at something and say, only good can come from this because God is my source and supply. Not people, not things. God is my source and supply. And He provides for me through His own amazing channels. When I remember that, I've connected with my source of power, and I now live under the laws of God. I don't have to worry about loss and gain. Now, as I said, A, it takes practice. B, you got to pull yourself out of your circumstances sometimes and go into that healthy denial place where you can just connect with something deeper in you. But once you do, there is that peace that passes understanding. And that is living under the laws of God. So I hope you take that with you today. And I hope that whenever something jolts you, seems fearful, you stand back and say, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying the illusion. I know my source, and I trust my source. I'm not a fair weather friend, and I live under the laws of God. Happy Miracle Monday. Happy Memorial Day. I hope you enjoy yourself today, and I hope you take this time to really connect with your heart and know who you are as well as whose you are. Happy Miracle Monday. If you'd like to find out more, check out my website, www.dawnpetalino.com, and I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye for now.